Maria was born in Italy in 1890. Now, if you're picturing a cute little Italian village surrounded by farmland, yeah, you're spot on. Maria was the third of 7 kids, and her family didn't have much at all. Her parents worked the land, basically from sunrise to sunset, just to keep food on the table. And little Maria? Even as a tiny kid, she jumped right in to help. She wasn't at school or playing games like we think of today. She was cleaning, cooking, taking care of her younger brothers and sisters, doing whatever needed to be done. Life was tough, but, and this is the first thing you need to know about Maria, she never complained. She had this deep, quiet faith, even when things were really hard. God wasn't some idea to her. He was her best friend, her everything. When Maria was just 9 years old, tragedy hit. Her father got sick, malaria, and passed away. Imagine that. 9 years old, your dad's gone, and now your family's even poorer than before. They had no choice but to move into a crowded house with another family, the Serenellis. And that's where things started getting dangerous. Living in that house was a young man named Alessandro Serenelli. At first, he was just this quiet guy who helped with farm work. But over time, it became clear he had a dark side. He was exposed to really bad stuff. Violent images, messed up ideas about women, and all that started to twist him. Maria, at barely 11 years old, caught his attention. Now Maria, she noticed. She could tell something was wrong. And you know what she did? She prayed. She prayed harder than ever before. She stayed close to her mother. She kept busy. She kept pure. She didn't have big speeches or anything. She just lived with this innocent bravery, even when she was scared. But one day, everything changed. It was July 5th, 1902. Maria was alone in the house, sewing on the front steps. Alessandro was supposed to be working in the fields, but he came home, and he wasn't right. He grabbed Maria and tried to force her. He threatened her. And Maria, this tiny 11-year-old girl, fought him off with everything she had. She screamed, "No, it's a sin. God doesn't want it." She wasn't just fighting for her body. She was fighting for her soul. And for Alessandro's too. And because she resisted, because she wouldn't give in, Alessandro snapped. He stabbed her, over and over, 14 times. Maria was rushed to the hospital, but the wounds were deep. She lived for about 24 more hours. And in that time, something incredible happened. A priest came to visit her. She was in so much pain, so much suffering. But Maria didn't think about herself. She asked God to forgive Alessandro. She said, "I forgive him, and I want him to be with me in heaven." Those were some of her last words. She died holding a crucifix, clutching her faith to the very end. She was just 11 years old. But Maria's story didn't end there. Alessandro went to prison, and for a long time, he stayed angry, bitter, full of hate. Until one night, Maria appeared to him in a dream. She handed him lilies, a symbol of purity, and the lilies burned his hands without hurting him. That dream broke him open. For the first time, he realized what he had done. He began to pray. He asked God and Maria for forgiveness. Slowly, he changed. By the time he was released after 27 years, he had become a different man. One of the first things Alessandro did after getting out of prison, he went straight to Maria's mother and begged her forgiveness. And do you know what she did? She forgave him, just like her daughter had. Years later, Alessandro even became a lay brother in a monastery. He spent the rest of his life trying to live in peace with God. And Maria? She was canonized a saint in 1950 by Pope Pius XII, in front of a massive crowd. And get this, her own mother was there, sitting in the front row, watching her daughter officially declared a saint. It was the first time a mother had ever seen her child canonized. Maria Goretti isn't just a saint because she suffered. She's a saint because she loved. Because even in the face of violence, she held on to purity, faith, forgiveness. Because she believed that another person's soul, even someone who hurt her, was worth fighting for. And that's a lesson we could all use today. Thanks for listening. And if Maria's story touched your heart even a little, hit that like button, subscribe, and stick around. Because we've got a lot more saints to meet. See you next time.